Of the thing, don't worry, the rest of the thing I will cover, that's not a issue. But the thing is that you must have the clarity what exactly the bubble sort and what exactly the binary search, because that is the important one. Okay, because unless you are not familiar with this kind of things, then it's very difficult to perform, you can understand these things better. So okay, I am going for a bubble sort. It's a sorting mechanism. Okay, there are a number of sorting mechanism which are available into the data structures, and this is the one of the most important subject that is called the data structure at the time of the BTech. If I say the BTech, then it's very important subject. For the fresher level, yes, you must have little bit knowledge, not little bit, you must have a good knowledge of this data structure if you are going for a after BTech for your jobs. Okay, so BTech in CSE especially. Okay, if you are BTech in CSE, that's definitely you must have a basic knowledge about this data structure. So this concept is called sorting technique, how you can sort the data. Okay, that is called bubble sort. Yesterday we see the linear search algorithm. Okay, linear search algorithm, and now we will see the binary search. Both are the searching algorithm. There are another algorithm already available. Okay, for this quicksort, merge sort, Redix sort. Okay, these are the algorithm also available into the data structure, but we will not go over that because they are little complicated as comparatively it is bubble sort. So linear search, binary search. Okay, so these are the algorithms which are available that you must have familiar if you are coming from the BTech CSC background. If you are not from CSC background, don't worry, but you must have the basic knowledge about all these things, very basic. Let's suppose now you guys are familiar with the linear search, and you guys will familiar with this bubble sort, and then you will familiar with the binary search. Okay, so now we are moving for this bubble sort. The bubble sort. Okay, the bubble sort, the name specify itself. I am the sorting technique, but which mechanism I am going to use? I am going to use the bubbles. Now what exactly the meaning of the bubble? If I elaborate these things, the bubbles mean these are the bubbles. Okay, these are the bubbles. So now observe the scenario how you can implement this bubble sort. For sorting, this one is a sorting technique basically. 10, 20, 30, 5, 6, okay, 7, 8. Now I want to sort it out. So how many items are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So for sorting all the items, I need 8 passes. As you already see in the videos, they are always saying, okay, if the items are this much, then you are supposed to take the n minus, the n minus 1 steps that you are supposed to take to sort all the items. So you have to perform 8 passes to sort all the items. Okay, so this one is a pass number 1. Okay, so in the pass number 1, what exactly that you are supposed to do? The biggest element, okay, the biggest element will become on the exact position. Okay, this one is the scenario. In the first pass, the biggest element will become at the exact position where exactly it will be fitted. It will be fitted at the end of this list. So this will come over here. So for example, the technique is swapping of 2 numbers. Okay, swapping numbers. That one is the technique to perform this bubble sort. So how many passes I will take? N minus 1 passes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it will take 6 passes to sort it. Okay, I need a 6 pass to sort it. In the first pass, what will be happen? First I will check 10 or 20. Which one is greater? Okay, pass number 1, the iteration number 1. So which one is greater? Okay, the 20 is greater and 20 is placed on the same position. So there is no need to do anything. Okay, there is no need to do anything. In the next iteration, now I will check this one. Okay, I will check this one. So this, again this position is exactly same. No need to swap it. No need to swap it. Swap it. Okay, so the next is this 30 and 5. Now there is need of this swapping. So elements become this. Okay, so element become this. In the next pass, what will be happen? You have to do swap of this 6 and 30. In the next pass, what you are supposed to do? You are swapping of this 7 or 30. Okay, in the next pass, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to do 8 or 30. So these are the steps. These are the steps for the one pass. After performing the pass number 1, the exact position you will get this 30 on the accurate position. Okay, this 30 will come on the accurate position over here rather than to here. Okay, so this one is a basically concept to doing this swapping. And after second pass, now observe this scenario. After getting the first pass, my first element is on exact position. So in the next pass, what element will be there? 20 and 30. Okay, at the end, I'm just writing the end state. So end 20 and 30. Okay, in the third path, after doing the number of steps, what I will get? I will get 20, 30. Okay, and which one is the 10? Okay, in the fourth pass, what I will get? I will get, okay, 10, 20, 30, and here I will get the item, which one is, that is the 8. Okay, and so on. And finally, after at the reach of the sixth pass, you will get a fully sorted list. Okay, in the form of this 5, 6, 7, okay, 10, 20, 30. Okay, here 8 is also available. Okay, 8. So you will get a complete, after the end of the sixth pass, you will get the entire step. So observe one thing over here. In the second pass, should I do this? Should I compare these two? No need to compare these two. So that's mean if I am taking here the 6 passes, okay, I taking here the 6 steps. So let's suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I took a six steps. So here the same thing happened with the 5 steps. Here the same thing happened with the 4 steps. Here the again into the pass number 4. Here the same thing happened into the 3, 2 and 1. Observe my scenario, this one. Okay, no need to again, let's suppose this much amount is data is sorted order. So there is no need to compare it. Why should I compare it? Okay, so I have to just perform the activity prior to it. That's it. This is the kind of the optimization. Okay, this is just kind of a optimization. So this concept is called the bubble sort. That means you are supposed to take the number of passes. So first loop will be decide. So now you can check it out. This one your outer loop. Who will decide how many steps that I am supposed to take? I am supposed to take the 6 steps. And these are the concept of the inner loop. On every iteration, on every outer loop iteration, you are supposed to perform all these steps. Okay, and the step is always reducing. Here the 6, here the 5, here the 4, 3, 2, 1. That's mean if the I value is 1, just understand this scenario because we will start over here from the 0. So if I value is 1, that's mean the pass number 1. In the pass number 1, if I took how many steps? If I took 6 steps, then when the I value become 2, then I will took 5 steps. Okay, when the I value become 3, I will took the number of steps, that is the 4, and so on. Automatically your step will be decreasing inside this loop. If you don't care this thing, again you can perform, output would be same, but your resources would be not the optimized. So optimizing your resources, I'll tell you the way how you can handle this scenario. In every pass, in the every iteration, that is the based on this one, but the thing is that always reducing one. Okay, always reducing the one step. If for the first pass, first iteration, if it execute for the 6 times, okay, in the next one it will be execute for 5 times, and so on and so on. We have to take care about this scenario as well. So I am making a code for the same now. This one is the very brief introduction for the bubble sort. I assume that you guys study the bubble sort from the internet. Okay, so let's suppose this one is my array. Okay, the items are there. Okay, so what I did, for I in range of len of AR, okay, len of AR, for j in range of from 0 to, okay, 0 to n minus I minus 1, okay, n minus I minus 1. So I am reducing one step. Okay, I am reducing one step. So this one is the banda. Otherwise you are supposed to take n as well, it will work fine. N minus I you can take it, it will work fine, but I am optimizing the resources. So this loop will be become n minus I minus 1. So how many steps it will run? It will run n minus 0 minus 1. Let's suppose the n value is 7. So 7 minus 1, it will become 6. Okay, in the next iteration, if the I value is 2, okay, if the I value is 2, then n minus 1, n minus 2 minus 1. So n minus 3. Okay, something like that. It will reducing one by one and so on. So here I do the same loop. Now these are the outer loop and this one is the inner loop who will decide the how many steps that I am gonna to be take. So here if, okay, so I am making a condition. Now what I have to do? I have to do this swapping. So on the what basis I am doing this swapping? If AR of j greater than ARR of j plus 1. Okay, j plus 1, that's it. So if this on 0th position and this one is the plus 1 position, okay, j plus 1 and this one is the j. Let's suppose the j is 0 and this position become 1 and 0. If the value is greater, okay, if the value of this one is greater, what you are supposed to do? You are doing over here, okay, you are supposing this value over here and this value over here. So we have to swap it. Understand my point? If this condition is true, okay, I am standing over here and I am checking the plus 1 condition. So let's suppose I am standing over here in the 0th position and this one is the 1 position. Here the value is, let's suppose 20. Here the value is, let's suppose 7. Now observe my scenario. So condition is true because this j of 0 is 20. J of, array of j plus 1, that's means the 0 plus 1, that is the 7. If this condition becomes true, true, then I am supposed to interchange it. So how I can interchange it? If I simply override the value, let's suppose I am not taking the help of the third variable. I just did this one over here. Okay, I just did this one over here and it remains same 7. So how I can swap these, these two values? So understand this concept. Let's suppose I have a container. Okay, I have a container. In A container, B container. Now my requirement is, in the A container, there is, let's suppose, water. Okay, there is, let's suppose, water. In the B container, there is, let's suppose, your cold drink. Okay, now my requirement is, I want to be over here. That's mean the cold drink I want to into this container and this water I want to into this container. How you will perform? You are supposed to take the help of this third container. Okay, third container. What you will do? First you will put the water over here. Okay, good. You put the water over here. Now this container become empty. This container become empty. Now what you will do? You will put this cold drink over here. Okay, after putting the cold drink over here, this container will become empty. Okay, this container will become empty. And now what you will do? You will put this data into here. Okay, you will put this data, the water, into this glass. So now your problem statement is sorted. So same thing I am going to take the help over here. That is the third variable for swapping of two numbers using the third variable. That's it. Okay. So first, temporarily I am storing a value. What value I am storing? ARJ. Okay, the same thing. This one is my P, that is the temp variable. Okay, this one is my P, temporary. What I took? I copy this value over here. I assign this value over here. Okay, I assign this value over here. Now what you have to do? Now the concept is swapping. Now this my value is saved. If I override this value, that doesn't matter because I already store this value over here. Okay, now here the water is there. Okay, now here the water is there. Now what I am doing? I am overwriting. Okay, I am overwriting. A of j is equal to ARR of j plus 1. Okay, I did overwriting. So same value contain over here. Okay, now the cold drink over here. Okay, now this container become empty, but here the container is not empty. Still there is a cold drink. So I have to override this cold drink with this water. So what I have to do? ARR j plus 1 is equal to P. That's it. Your assignment is done. Now after that you are supposed to print this. Okay, print ARR. That's it. This is the funda. This one is the important logic. Okay, rest of the things are same that we already discussed, inner loop, inner for loop, and so on. So here this logic is important. This is the logic, just simple logic, swapping of two numbers with the help of third variable, which I show you the graphically. Okay, this diagrammatically I show you how the things are happening over here. Because this one is a container, I took this P is a container. Here first I store this data, and now this value putting over here. After putting this value again putting over here. So this is the same the general life scenario. You want to change something, you have to take the help of this third variable. Okay, so this one is a code. Should I write a code into the notepad, or you guys will try by your own? Please do hurry up.
It's fine, sir.
Okay, good. So this one is a code. Sorry.
We will try on self.
Good. Okay, so this one is a code. Okay, the next is, okay, anyone having any doubt for this, please let me ask before proceeding further. I think there is no doubt. I explained you into the layman term. So keep this funda into the mind. You will never forget about the concept of this. So always try to relate the things with the real time scenario. In the journal scenario, this is the journal scenario that I give you this problem statement. Now you are supposed to write a code for this, and the same thing will happen over here. We took the help of this P container. Here the P container is another glass. Okay, the same thing. Okay, so anyone having any doubt, please let me ask before proceeding further. Okay, good. So the next is the binary search. Okay, the binary search. This is the searching algorithm. Okay, searching algorithm. Now the condition number 1, if you want to perform a binary search, there is one mandatory condition. What that condition is? Your data into the sorted order. That's it. This is the first condition, mandatory condition. Otherwise your data is not sorted order, you are not supposed to perform this binary search. Now we know how we can sort the items with the help of bubble sort. Now the first you sorted the item. Okay, first you sorted the item. Now the next concept is you are supposed to perform the binary search. Okay, so binary search, what exactly the binary search is? Searching the element, okay, with the technique. That technique is called binary search. So how it perform? Now first understand this concept layman term, then we will come back to this point. Okay, so let's suppose these are the numbers, and the first condition is that the item should be into the sorted order. So my data is into the sorted order. Okay, 10, 20 and up to, let's suppose, the 100. Okay, here the mid is 50. Okay, the mid is 50. So let's suppose this one is my data. The condition is sorted out. The first data should be into the sorted order, and this one is into the increasing order. Okay, the data can be into the increases or data can be into the decreasing order. That doesn't matter. But data should be into the sorted order. It is mandatory. Okay, so keep this point into the mind. For sorting the item, we know the bubble sort technique. Okay, now we have to perform. This binary search. Okay, this binary search. So how we can perform this binary search? Observe this scenario. So my question is, what item that you want to search it out from the entire data? Let's suppose the user says, sir, I want to search out 75. Okay, 75. Now the question is, sir, where should I look this 75? In the linear search, what was the problem? Okay, what was the problem? In the linear search, you are supposed to iterate every item, and you are supposed to check whether that item is equivalent to your searching item or not. Okay, this one is the problem statement into the linear search. So let's suppose there are 1 lakh items. Okay, let's suppose 10 lakh items. Okay, 10 lakh items are there, and you are supposed to find out one item. So how many iteration that you did? Observe my scenario carefully. Let's suppose your item is placed on 9,09,099. Okay, 99, something like this, 9,99,900. Okay, you are looking for this item. Okay, you are looking for this item. In the linear search, how many iteration you made? You made from 0 to this much amount of iteration, and finally you find it and you display the data on the screen. Sir, your item is find it out. Okay, your item is find it out. So this one is the problem into the linear search, because this one is you have to iterate all item one by one, and how many iteration you made? You made 9,99,999, the iteration that you made, because your item is this one that you are looking for. Okay, so observe this. This one is the problem statement. Now this problem statement is solved with the help of this binary search. Okay, with the help of this binary search. Now what exactly the binary search is? Your searching item is 75. Just understand this scenario. So where is the possibility? Where is the possibility your item will be there? Okay, what is the possibility your item will be where? So after watching the data, I clearly observe it. Okay, my data will be greater than 50. Okay, my data is greater than 50. That's mean my data is between from 50 to 100. Observe my scenario. Okay, between 50 to 100. So why should I waste my resources to check the all items? Why should? Because data is into the sorted order, we know it. So why I wasted my resources to check all these items? Because I know my data is not present over here. Okay, again, when I understand it, okay, my data is between 50 to 100. Definitely my data is between into these two days. Again I calculated. Okay, again I calculated the mid. Okay, so this time let's suppose I am not taking 75, I am taking 90. Okay, this time I again calculated the mid. Now what observation came into the mind? I observe it, my data is into this direction. So why should I check? Why should I check all this? Why should I check all this? Because I know it, my data is greater than 75 and we have to proceed into this direction. So then why should I waste my resources to iterate this much amount of data? There is no need. Okay, there is no need. Again I will find out. Okay, again I will find out the mid of this one, and let's suppose the mid of this one is this. Okay, so it will become, let's suppose the 13 and 75 and 3, let's become the 88. Okay, let's suppose the mid is this one, 88. Now again, why I should waste my resources to check from these items? Because I know my item is present somewhere around this. I again calculated the mid, and one day what will happen, your mid will become item. Okay, your mid will become item, and rather than to do the 100 iteration, I did the same thing with 1 iteration, 2 iteration, 3 iteration and 4 iteration. That's it. Okay, approximately, not exact 4, it can be 4 or it can be 5. Okay, I did the same thing with 4 or 5 iteration. Rather than if I perform the linear search, then how many iteration I have to make? I have to make 90, minimum 90 iteration, minimum. Okay, because my item is 90. So minimum 19 iterations are I have to made over here to find out this 90. But the same thing I find it out with the 4 or 5 iteration. So this one is the benefit over the binary search. Okay, binary search over the linear search. Okay, but there is a one. Yeah, sorry.
इसका एग्जांपल ऐड कर सकते हैं आप रियल लाइफ में, क्योंकि
Sir, layer.
मेरे दिमाग में एक बात आ रही है कि why not when the numbers are sorted already, why wouldn't I go for +1 and -1?
+1
Why do I
and
have to go for it?
sorry, I didn't get +1 and -1. What exactly that mean?
Well, let's say if there is numbers are sorted, for example, okay, we know that numbers are sorted. That's the first condition. Yeah, and if we're trying to search a 90, why wouldn't I go to the, suppose n is a value 90, I'll go n-1 straight away.
Sir, how it is possible? If let's suppose your number is 20, then what is the benefit of n-1?
19.
No, let's suppose your numbers are 1000. Okay, numbers are 1000 and I want to find it out 555. Then what you will do?
Yeah.
So what
So
you will do?
n is the 555, so n-1 becomes 554.
Sir,
You know what I'm trying to say is,
no.
I was initially thinking that
Sir,
probably
understand. This concept is called sequential order, sir. Okay, this concept is called sequential order, because if I want to let's suppose this one is a list. Okay, this one is a list. I have to iterate from this memory location. Okay, I have to iterate from this memory location to this one. Okay, I have to iterate all these items. Let's suppose the MySQL, that is the sequential processing. That mean is, you are standing over here. If you want to reach over here, there is no direct way that you are supposed to reach over here. You have to pass through one by one. Okay, because this is a data, this is the property of this MySQL. But in the case of NoSQL, that you are saying, whatever that you are saying, that is the concept of the NoSQL databases. Here you can directly move on to that particular location. Understand my scenario? You can directly move to the that point of that particular location. Why so? Because this is the column oriented. Okay, this is the column oriented databases, and these are the row oriented databases. When the data is row oriented, there is no way that you directly move over here. Okay, there is no way. But in the case of the NoSQL databases, you are supposed to move over here. Okay, you are supposed to move over here. So this one is a concept. So here why you are saying this 5 minus 1, let's suppose your data is this one. Okay, you just consider this example inside your mind, that always the data would be into this sequence. Let's suppose the data into this sequence, 101, 108, 109, okay, and somewhere 120, and then 135, and there 200. Then what you will do? You are saying the index basically. So index of this one, okay, and you are looking for 135. Now this time you will say go to the index of 134. So that is That is not appropriate way. I think you give the answer of your question.
Yep.
Okay, because you're saying something like this, but this one is this one. So you are saying 134 minus 1, 133. Okay, so there is no possibility. Okay, so in the real time scenario, there is two type of databases. One is the column oriented, and second one is the not column oriented. There are further feature, column oriented, you know, the document oriented, okay, the graph oriented, the key value oriented. So here the things what you are saying, that is possible, but here into the case of the MySQL, because this is a sequential process, here you are not supposed to go on to the direct location. You are supposed to iterate through. Okay, iterate through. So this one is the concept. I hope you get the answer of your question. Okay, so back to the point. So where we were for this, you know, this bind. Now we understand this concept, how you are supposed to perform it. So where you know, the focus is gone on which condition you have to calculate this mid. Now observe this scenario. So this one is my list. Okay, this one is my list. 0 to 100 items are there. Okay, so first what you are supposed to do? First you are supposed to calculate the mid. Okay, this one is a mid. This one is a mid. Now I am checking. Okay, I am checking. Is my item on mid? Let's suppose the searching item is 75. Okay, is my item is on mid? Okay, on mid. No, it's not a on mid. So this condition is false. So next you are supposed to check, is my item greater than mid or less than mid? If my item greater than mid, observe my scenario. If my item greater than mid, then I am supposed to move into this direction. If my item is less than mid, then I am supposed to move into this direction. Okay, understand this point. Now I go to clear this one. Okay, this one is my item which is greater than mid. So in this direction I have to proceed. Okay, now what next? After proceeding in this direction, what next I have to do? Again I have to calculate the mid. Now from where I have to calculate the mid? So for this point of time, my starting point will become this. Okay, from this to this I have to calculate the mid. Okay, from this to this I have to calculate the mid. So its mean is, earlier my start is 0. Okay, earlier my start is 0, the end is this one. Observe carefully. Earlier my start is 0 and the end is this one. If the item is greater, than the mid, then I have to proceed to the right hand direction. If I am proceeding to the right hand direction, so what next I have to do? I have to change the start point. Okay, I have to change the start point. What will become my start point? My start point will become mid plus 1. Observe carefully. Okay, my start point is changing when I am moving to the right hand direction. Everything that we are going to perform into our algorithm. Okay, so when I am moving to the right hand direction, it is mandatory that you are supposed to change the start point, and at that time the start point will become mid plus 1. Again you have to calculate the mid. Okay, now the start is, let's suppose the start is 51, just observe this scenario, and the mid is 100. End is 100, end remains same because you are moving to the right hand direction. So here you calculated it and you get the 75. Okay, you get the 75. Now you are checking it out. Is 75 equal to 75? Yes, 75 is equal to 75. That's mean my item is available there. This is the one case. Another case. If just wait for a second. Okay, just wait. Here now understand the next scenario. If you want to move, okay, let's suppose this item, okay, the searching item is less than this one, then what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to move into this direction. Now this time what is happening? Observe carefully. What is happening on this time? So this time your start remains same. What your end will become? End will become mid minus 1. That's it. Now I think the picture is clear. Because first in all the cases that you are supposed to perform all the scenario, here again if your mid is greater, then again the concept is same. This time your start will become this, your end will become this. If you have to move into this direction after finding it out of this mid, again your start will become this, your end remains same. So this one is a funda. Okay, this one is a funda. So that you are supposed to do, and these steps are performed into the loop, and that loop will be iterate through until your end is less than, your start is less than equals to end. So that is the condition for your loop. Okay, so now I am showing you the code for the same. This one is the layman strategy to understand the concept of the binary search. Now we are moving for the your technical things, how this can be achieved with the help of the Python program. Okay, so very simple. This one is your array. Okay, this one is your array, the number of items. Okay, 10, 5, 8. But the thing is that the item should be into the sorted order. Prior to implement this binary search, you are supposed to perform the bubble sort. Okay, bubble sort over it. Now what you are supposed to do? So initially what I am making, start is equal to 0. Okay, and end is equal to len of arr minus 1. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? The len of array, because always starting from 0, the length of array, let's suppose the 10, you are supposed to move only 0 to 9. The same thing I am doing over here. Okay, the end will become, let's suppose, this 9. Okay, this 9. So I understand this concept. If the 10 items are there, then the last item index would be 0, would be 9, because the counting is always start from 0. So here it become 9. So now you are supposed to make a condition. Okay, you are supposed to make a condition. I am making a one counter. Okay, that initially I am making that counter is equal to 0, because I have to again take care about if the item is not there. Let's suppose you are looking for 1000 and that 1000 is not available into the entire data. So at that time you are supposed to print a message to the user, this item is not available. The same thing in the case of the linear search that we already implement this concept. So I make a counter is equal to 0. Now the loop is this one, while start less than equals to end. Okay, I have to iterate through until my start is less than equals to end, because at one point what will be happen, your start less than or equals to, okay, equals to this end. At the same, the both will become same. Okay, both will become same. So now you are supposed to calculate mid. Okay, now how you can calculate the mid? Start plus end. Okay, double divided by 2. Because why double divided by 2? Why double divided by 2? If I use single divide, then what will be happen? 4.5. Now what is 4.5? Okay, what is 4.5? So value should be 4 or value should be 5. So it always return as the integer. So how I can control it? Okay, the 4.5 loops. This is not the right terminology. I'll say you, okay, 4.5 loop you are supposed to execute. That is the wrong way. So that's why you have to take care about this thing. That is the integer value. Now my condition is, if let's suppose the searching item you ask from the user, that is the searching item, you ask from the user what you want to search. If array of mid double equal to your search item, okay, double equal to your search item, then what you are supposed to print? Print item found at mid. Okay, item found at mid, because that mid is basically your index number. Keep this point into the mind. So item found on that number. Okay, and what I am making? C is equal to 1 and I am breaking it. Okay, I am breaking the entire process. So this is the one case. This one is a one case. If the item is found, let's suppose my mid, because I already told you, we will perform the iteration, we will calculate the iteration until that mid is not equal to your search item, or until the start is less than equals to end. Until this condition is true, at that time you are supposed to perform it. When your start and end, okay, your start will be greater than the end. Let's mean I am saying this one is a end and this one is a start. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. So keep this point into the mind. So if array of mid double equals to searching item, then you are supposed to print it, okay, the item found and C is equal to 1 and break. And another scenario, elif. Okay ji, elif. So elif AR mid, okay, mid less than, so less than search, okay, less than your search element, okay, whatever your search element. Now you understand it, my mid item is less than to the search. So which direction you are supposed to move? Your start will become mid plus 1. So that's mean you are supposed to move into this direction. Okay, so same process I perform over here. Start become mid plus 1. Else if this condition is failed, then what will be happen? Your end is equal to mid minus 1. That's it. This one is the logic, that is implement inside the while loop. And after completion of this while loop, if counter double equals to 0, that's mean the counter value doesn't change, that's mean it doesn't enter into the this condition. If it doesn't enter into the this condition, that's mean print item is not available. That's it. Okay, entire the terminology is same. You are supposed to calculating mid, and you are checking that mid with the searching item. If, just give me 2 minutes, if this searching item, you know, this mid is equal to the searching item, that's mean we got our the search element what you are looking for. And if this condition is failed, so two conditions are there. The one condition is if item is less than, then you are supposed to move into this direction. That means your start will become mid plus 1. Otherwise your end will become mid minus 1. So let's suppose the mid is 5. If this condition is true, your start will remain 0 and your mid will become 4. That's mean the item is between 0 to 4. Again you are calculating it. Again you are calculating mid. Okay, now this time let's suppose the item is 3, then you are supposed to move into this direction. So end remains same this time, that is the 4. Mid will this one. So start will become your mid. So this one is the funda. Okay. So any question you can ask me. Any question regarding this, so you can ask me. Just wait for a second.
Decimals has to be together.
Okay. Any question? Please ask me for this context. If you have any doubt, any question regarding this, please ask me. Very simple terminology. I explain you in the layman term, and the same code is there in front of you. The same thing you are keep on the iterated mode. Okay, you have to keep on until this condition is true. Whenever this condition become false, at the same time you are supposed to break this entire scenario. Okay, so should I write the code for the same, or you guys will try for the same?
We will try, sir.
Okay, good. So any question, any doubt into this algorithm, you can ask me. Okay, so we are moving further. Okay, what was the next assignment? The next assignment is list comprehension. Okay, what you are supposed to do? We are supposed to do this one. Okay, so where is our shell? Still didn't open. So okay, let me open my shell. Okay, so I'm showing you the concept, that is the list comprehension. So here W is equal to hello, the next one is yellow, and so on. Okay, so this one is our list. Now this X list that I am newly generating for I in W, and what you are supposed to do, I of 0. That's it. I think it will work fine. There is no, yes, perfectly it's working. So here what is happening, in the first iteration the I become hello, and what I am doing, I am just performing the concept of the slicing. Okay, I of 0. So I in the first iteration, what it's becoming, it's becoming hello. Okay, and I am doing I of 0. That's it, that is the hello. In the second iteration, what it become, it become yellow. Okay, it become yellow, and what I am doing, again I am performing the same step. Okay, you are getting the Y, and it is also, we know it also automatically appended, because we are taking the help of the list comprehension. Okay, so very simple. I think no need to explain this more. Okay, the another one is you have to perform the concept of the you know, this one is a, let's suppose this one is a string. I love Python. So everything that should be into the capital letter, and you have to find it out the length of each word. Okay, so first what you have to do, x is equal to this one, for I in s dot split. Okay, s dot split. So it's splitting the items, and you are supposed to take the inner list. Okay, so here what you are doing, what is inside I? Inside I, the first item is L. Sorry, first item is I. Inside this I, the first item is I. Inside this I, the second item is love. Inside this one, the third item is Python. Okay, so I dot upper, because you are supposed to convert it into the upper, and again you are supposed to calculate the length of this I. That's it. Okay, upper, sorry, I dot upper. Okay, not comma upper, I dot upper. That's it. Now you will get, this one is the output. This one is the output that you are looking for. What I am doing, I am appending the new list, the same yesterday concept. Append of the entire list into the list. Same thing I am doing over here. After getting the data, I am converting it into the upper, and after converting into the upper, I calculated the length of that particular word and packing into the list, and this list is again entering into this append concept, exactly the same concept, append concept. And we know it, whenever you are using the concept of the list comprehension, there is no need to return, or there is no need to append. So automatically it is appending into this one X list. Okay, so this one is the way. I think the picture is clear. Very simple concept. Okay, you can do the same thing, the yesterday concept, you can do the same thing. Okay, to create a one matrix. So let me try for the same, whether it's working or not. So I just give you the hint, I am not sure it will code, this code will work fine, because you have to think about it. Okay, so here for I in range of, okay, range of, let's suppose the 5 item that you want to enter into the first matrix. Okay, so let's suppose the 5, you know, the 5 rows. Okay, and let me try it whether it's working or not. For j in the range of, let's suppose the 2 columns are there. Okay, 2 into 2, I'm just taking a 2 into 2 matrix. And what you are supposed to do, I don't think so it worked fine. I think it's not work fine like this. Input of element. Okay, I don't think so it work fine, because everything is fair. Here equal to sign, I suppose, will generate a mistake. For I in, okay, let me try this. Okay, this is the invalid, I know it. So here simply you can take it. No, here is a so this one, let me just simply do the I into I. Okay, let me check this work. No, this is not working fine. So for I in a range of j in a range of 2. So 1 second. Okay, just let me try this whether it's work fine or not. Yes. now I think matrix, what is the name of that? matric. Okay, now it's working fine. Okay, let me convert it into the exact format. So 2 by 2 matrix that I am gonna to generate over here. Now you are supposed to do it. Okay, enter 10 10 20. Okay, 10 20. So matrix, no, again there is some mistake. It should be 10 comma 20 and then again. So
You
here,
can append it.
no need of append over here. So this one, enter this, and for I in range the rest of the things are same for I, but this time it should take
सर क्योंकि हम इनपुट यूज कर रहे हैं मे बी ये स्ट्रिंग ले रहा होगा
नहीं वो that's not a concern. The concern is this one, this should be into 1, this should be into 2. Okay, so here it's appending because I implemented this logic and this is not fine. Somehow we achieve it, but there is little bit mistake. I am not getting where we are doing a little mistake, only little mistake. So here for I for j, it's returning the elements. It's asking how many time it will be performed. I don't know, I have to check it out. Otherwise it's the rest of the code is working fine. Code is not a issue.
it's working it's 4 times it's going and every
Yeah, but it should be take the data into the combination of this one. So your entire thing whatever we made yesterday with 3 or 4 lines, the same thing can be achieved with a single line only, and there is little mistake. I will check and let you know how exactly you can do this scenario. Okay, rather than to take the code as we already discussed, 1 loop 2 loop and then we write the number of lines, approximately 4 or 5 lines.
एंटर वैल्यू में सर हम वहाँ पे एंड इक्वल नहीं लगा सकते हैं
Where
एंटर वैल्यू एंड इक्वल
enter value comma
इसके बाद एपोस्ट्रोफी साइन के बाद में कॉमा एंड इक्वल
one second
बिफोर द
one second comma one more. Yes, you can do the okay, let me try this. Did it work fine or not? So let it be try. I think it should work. I think 10 20 10 20, how many times? 10 20 10.
तो सर ज्यादा हो गया
One second, देखते हैं दिक्कत क्या है. Data is into the order, but how many time it ask? It ask
8 times
1 2 3 4. Okay, so that's mean yes. So what we can do here, the code can be make more simple. Okay, so I am copying this thing and now the code will become, I think, more easy. Control V. Okay, so here rather than to implement this second loop, okay, the same thing I think done. Yeah, done. But this is not a optimized code, you know. This can be work fine for this one. Let's suppose the third by third. If I want to make a matrix that is the third by third, 3 rows 3 columns, so it will not work fine for that. Now you can check, it will not work fine. Okay, it always take the matrix that is the 3 2 columns only, always, because I stuck it into for the 2 columns. So you can optimize this code, but yes, for somehow your task become very easy if you do the same thing with this. Okay, so I think all the assignment has been done. I show you the way how you can achieve all the assignments. Now the next is your next topic, that is called tuple. Exactly same. This is the concept, only that is mutable and immutable. Rest of the things are same. Okay, everything is same, but the thing is, the concept is called mutable and immutable. So there are only 2 methods. The one is the count. Okay, the one is the count. So what you want to count, let's suppose you want to count 10. Okay, so it's giving me the 1, because the number of 10 is only 1. If you want to find out the index, okay, index, the next method is index. So index of 10, so you will get 0. Only 2 methods are associated with this tuple, because rest of the thing you are not supposed to perform. You cannot count, you cannot, the append it, you cannot modify it. Why so? Because this is the concept of the immutable objects. Everything is same. The difference is only this, the mutable and the immutable. There in the list we learn about 10 to 15 methods, but here the methods are only 2, because that method are pop, remove, okay, delete. Okay, so you are not supposed to perform it. Even you are not supposed to clear it. Okay, f.clear. So you are not supposed to clear it, because this is the tuple object. Tuple object has no attribute clear. You are not supposed to change the data. Whatever data you get, you are not supposed to append it, you are not supposed to change it, you are not supposed to sorted it, you are not supposed to perform any activity except this count and index. Okay, but you want to do something, what you have to do, you have to convert it into the list. Okay, you have to convert it into the list. After performing the activity over here, again you can convert it into the tuple. Okay, sorry, spelling mistake, this is tuple. Okay, so spelling mistake. The same thing with the tuple. Okay, so you can do the first, if you want to make the changes over here, so list, okay, convert it into the list, and after made the changes, convert it into the tuple. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, so here again the list comprehension is there. Yes, that is called automatically the tuple comprehension. Okay, because we learn about the list comprehension. Now if I say you, okay, this concept is there, so you will say, sir, this one is the tuple comprehension, but tuple comprehension is no term inside this. So I will tell you what exactly difference between the list comprehension and generators. Here the concept is called generators. Okay, so observe this scenario. So I am using it, okay, I am using it I into I for I in range of 10. Okay, range of 10. Now I print it. What is this? What is this? This is the list comprehension. Okay, associated with the list. So it's mean it's a list comprehension that I made with the help of this. Okay, same thing I am performing with the help of the tuple comprehension. Okay, you guys will say, sir, this will become the tuple comprehension. So tuple comprehension is no term inside the entire Python. Okay, so when I press this, output you can get the generator. So this one is the generator object. Okay, how I can iterate the generator object? For I in range, no range, I in simply X, and you are supposed to print of I. Now you will check out the output is exactly same. Where we get it, that is the output is exactly same in the case of the list, in the case of the generator. Now you will ask me, sir, what is the difference between these two? Now observe the scenario. What is the difference between these two? Now I am performing the same code. Okay, I am performing the same code with the help of the list comprehension. Okay, now the values are very high. Okay, the values are very high. So when I press enter, it will keep on waiting. At what time it will say memory out of range error. Okay, after some time it will say memory out of range error. Why so? Because inside a list comprehension, everything is stored inside a memory. Okay, inside a memory. So it is calculating I into I and storing into the memory. It is calculating I into I, storing into memory, and at some extent the memory become very long, very huge, and it will say memory out of range error. If I wait for 5 or 6 minutes more, now you can check it out, the memory error. Okay, memory error, because this activity is not performed. Now, but my requirement is this one, that I want to perform this entirely, this solution. Okay, so this time I will take the help of the generator, because generator don't store the data into the memory. They pick the data, calculate the data, and left the data. They pick the data, calculate the data, and left the data. They pick, calculate, and leave. They pick, calculate, and leave. They pick, calculate, and leave. But in the case of list comprehension, they pick, calculate, and store. They pick, calculate, and store. They pick, calculate, and store. So this is the only difference. Now when I press enter, immediately you are getting the error. But the thing is that you have to iterate the generator objects. Okay, print of I. Now you will get it. You are getting the output, exactly the entire, the long output, because earlier you get the error message. So where we have to use this concept, when let's suppose you are reading a data and the data contains so many records into the file. Okay, you are reading from a data such somewhere, and that data contains lakhs of record, thousands of record, but you want to perform the activity something like a list. At that time you have to take the help of the generator objects. So you won't get the memory out of range error. If you do the same thing with the help of the list, okay, then you will get the output on the screen, that is the memory error after some time, as we discuss, as we see into this section. Okay, the memory out of range error. The same thing I perform with the generator. Now it's become a generator. Okay, generator object. Now you can check it out. I break it with the help of the control C, otherwise it will keep on displaying. Okay, so this one is the only difference between the list comprehension and the generator. Okay, the tuple comprehension is no term inside this Python, and for this tuple there are only 2 methods. The rest of the things are same. Okay, any question till now you can ask me.
We can't. Obviously these are tuple values, but can we? And as you said, they are immutable. We cannot work on that, can we?
Now you can do the assignment. You can do the operation over there, no?
Okay, we can work. We can work on these numbers.
Yeah, you can work on these numbers. The entire same thing that you want to perform, you can perform. Okay, for example this one, and you want to do some activities over there. Okay, so you can perform this. Now you can check. Now you can check. Okay, so activity that you want to perform, you can perform. That's not an issue. I perform a very small logic. This one here logic, I need only the even value from the entire data set, and it will giving me the even values 0, 4, 16, 36 and 64. But if I check out all the values, then you can check. Why it's not coming? Because I already iterate through. Okay, so there is a method. I suppose that method is yield something like this. Okay, yield or next, I think the next something like this. There are some method which are associated with the generators. Okay, so next, yield, something like this. Later on we will discuss about these things. Okay, for this point of time, just keep this point into the mind. There is no term, that is the tuple comprehension. The term which is called, that is the generators. Okay, so any another question from your side? Okay, so I think enough for today. Please do the practice for all. Tomorrow we will cover the set, and then we will move to the dictionary. After that, your basic things will be covered in great detail. Okay, we will try to cover a program with the help of the dictionary and with the help of the set. There are the 2 major data types which are still remaining to cover. we cover if, we cover for, we cover nested for, we cover while, we cover string in great detail, we cover list into the great detail, we cover tuple into the great detail. Now the next topics which remaining, the major data types, that is the dictionary and set. We will discuss these things into the great detail, and after that we will move to the advanced topics. For example, file handling, functions, database connectivity, okay, exception handling. We will cover all these things step by step, but these are the important one, because whenever you are comfortable with these data structures, rest of the things become very easy. Okay, just you have to do the decorate them, that's it, nothing else. In the logics, whenever you are performing the list, okay, whenever you are performing the file handling, whenever you are performing the database connectivity, the entire things are same, the logics are same, okay, the lists are same, the set is same, the dictionary is same. Now the way of the representation is little different, but the logic or the concepts are exactly same. You read the data from the files, at that time the data can be into the form of the list. You can convert that data into the dictionary as well. Okay, so please keep on practice, try to cover all these things. Tomorrow we will see the new topic, might be the set or maybe the dictionary. Okay, it's depend upon the situation and that time, so we will cover. Any question you can ask me before leave this session. If you have any question, please ask me. Anyone having any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so thank you, and we will meet tomorrow. The recording will be available within 1 hour. Okay.